Ivy, what happened?
Oh, you've come back to me. Thank goodness.
Where'd all the Illusian soldiers go?
Oh, yeah, we kinda killed them all. Whoops.
They retreated.
Oh, yeah, they retreated. Yeah, let's just tell her that. They retreated.
I should go with them.
No, it's not safe. Zephyr could take control over you again.
But I was the last person left at Illusia Castle. Without me, there'll be no one to lead. No one to take care of the country Father left behind.
That is true. But it's out of our hands.
How can you say that? Don't you care about Illusia at all?
Of course I do. I would have given my life to protect our kingdom. But it is not our kingdom anymore. It's the Fell Dragons. Surely you see that.
Princess Ivy.
I didn't want to admit it. But Father stopped being king as soon as the Fell Dragon awoke. Since then, true power has rested with Sombron, his daughter, and the Four Hounds. If you went back now, you would become an instrument of their designs, just as Father was.
It's left fairly ambiguous whether Hyacinth really was brainwashed, or whether, yeah, he was just kind of gaslit the more conventional way.
I want to go home too. You have no idea how badly. But there's no home to go back to until we defeat the Fell Dragon. After allowing Father to relinquish his power to Sombron, we owe our people no less.
The castle. My only home since I was little. We really can't go back now, can we?
No. We can't.
That little nook where I had tea with my friends. The garden where you and I read together. Even Rosado and Goldmary. I've left everything and everyone behind. All right, Ivy. I'll join this fight. So that someday, things can be like they were again.
Thank you, Hortensia.
I'm really sorry for what I did. Divine One, you should have this.
The Ring of the Instructor. One of the rings stolen from Lethos. Thank you for returning it.
And from a heartfelt moment to another emblem.
Don't give me too much credit. I wasn't exactly planning to hand it over.
Even so, you have my thanks.
Teach us, Emblem of the Academy.
Technically not Byleth's theme, but it's still a good song. Byleth is simultaneously the most simple and the most complex emblem in the game, offering incredible support all the time and decent offense with certain users. Despite seeming like a physical attacker, he actually boosts magic, along with speed and luck. His luck boost is significant, and that's actually not a bad thing because of his first sync skill, Divine Pulse. This gives a 30% +1 for every 4 points of luck chance to turn a missed attack into a hit. Now, already this sounds great for people who have accuracy problems, but what the game doesn't tell you is, this also affects status starves like Freeze and Silence. Byleth's level 3 sync skill is simple but incredible. It grants a 1.2 times experience multiplier to both the holder and everybody adjacent. And Byleth likes standing near people because of their engage abilities. Their engage skill lets them, on command, give a buff to all allies within 2 spaces. The buff depending on unit type, so Byleth has a lot of versatility here. Dragon giving all stats +3 makes Aaliyah a very popular choice for Byleth, but Covert speed +5 is also nice. That essentially means you double everything with speed less than or equal to yours. Strength +4 from backup and defense +5 from armored are also nice. The minor issue I have with this skill is it's only usable while engaged, and it requires you to spend your turn, pushing Byleth's user towards a support role. But the engage attack is very much worth using your turn for, no matter who you are. This refreshes the movement of every adjacent ally. That means up to 4 people can move and act twice in the same turn. This lets you accomplish so many things you otherwise couldn't. Beating multi-health par bosses in a single turn, rushing to villages, killing up to 8 enemies with a squad of 4, and it gets better. We haven't even got our dancer yet, and unlike many refresh effects, Goddess Dance can refresh dancers who have already refreshed another ally. Which means that with good positioning, you can get up to 6 people to act twice in a turn. And as a bonus, everyone refreshed by Goddess Dance, though only those adjacent, not within 2 spaces, get the same buff that Instruct would give. Goddess Dance alone makes Byleth one of the best emblems in the game, if not the best. And I haven't even got over his engage weapons yet, because when Byleth was asked which hero's relic he wanted to bring to engage, he answered yes. Every class type gets a different engage weapon or sometimes item from Byleth. And in a painful display of irony, dragons get Aimer. A smash weapon with 20 crit is nice, but I don't see this used much because dragons lean more towards support with Byleth. Speaking of things I don't see used much, backup units get Blutgang, which would be okay if it wasn't a magic sword and worse than the Levin sword and lacking 1 to 2 range. Cavalry effectiveness is sort of nice, but in practice there aren't a lot of backup units with the magic to use this. Cavalry get Aradbar, which boosts might by 50% when initiating combat. Easy to do when you've got high movement. Covert units get a really nice one, Failnort, a 2 to 3 range bow with a decent crit rate and granting plus 20 avoid when initiating combat. Great if you're already attacking from that double terrain avoid. Flyers get Lewin, which we've seen enemy Hortensia use effectively. Armors get the Aegis Shield, which boosts defense by a lot and resistance by a little, and gives a dex % chance to halve damage. I find this one of the least useful Byleth items. Because mystical units get Lysithia's Staff of Ultimate Doom. The fun thing about plus 2 range for magic is it also affects Surge, giving you a very powerful attack with none of its usual drawbacks. But regular 2 range tomes are now 4 range, and Thunder is now 5, though you can't stack this with Dire Thunder. This is my personal favourite way to use Byleth. It turns a strong magic user like Pandreo into a long-range assassin who's never at risk of counters. And in the rare times they do, there's a chance they take half damage. Key Adepts get the very strange Raphael Gem. Strange because it negates effectiveness damage, but the only time that comes into play is a Lear reclassed into a Key Adept. Preventing critical hits is kinda nice, but overall not my favourite use of Byleth. At Bond 10, every class type gets the Vajra Mushti, an arts weapon that strikes on the lower of the foe's defense and resistance, which is how I wish all arts worked. Weird and hilarious fact about this weapon. When used by Temera, in a very specific circumstance, it's one of the few ways Sandstorm can do less damage than attacking normally. Oh, and Byleth also has skill inheritance, I guess. His stat boosts raise luck, which is actually quite good because of Divine Pulse. Or once you inherit Celica's favourite food on Bunei, you can give these to him for a silly Goddess Dance spam build. His weapon boost is Art Focus, which I find the worst one in the game. Why would you make yourself more prone to crits for more accuracy with arts? Well, I guess with the Raphael Gem you have that downside negated. I literally just realized that while recording this. But what you're really here for are Divine Pulse and Mentorship, which are insanely cheap for what they do. And the other thing you're here for is that, finally, we have a non-DLC emblem who can teach art proficiency. Finally, you can reclass people to Key Adept who are not Alir, Fram, and Jean. In summary, Byleth has possibly the best engage attack in the game, some situationally useful but pretty good engage weapons, and cheap and effective inheritance. It's as if being able to speak has unleashed his true power.
I am Emblem Byleth. It feels as though I've just awoken from a very long dream.
And he can actually talk!
I'm glad to be where I belong, at your side. Use my power to guide everyone.
I will. Thank you, Emblem Byleth.
So, how is everyone?
Queen Sephoria, you're all right.
That I am. Some Illusian soldiers tried to seize me, but I was saved at just the right moment.
We took him down.
Alfred and I intended to help.
Yes, that's what you were doing when I wasn't using you in my main army.
But by the time we'd drawn our weapons, the fight was already over.
That's the Soul Royal Guard for ya. Pretty good, right?
This makes me scared to fight them in skirmishes because they appear to be some of the few NPCs in the entire series who are actually competent.
I'm just glad the Queen is safe. Well done, everyone.
Well done yourself. No more trespassers. My palace is rid of them. Divine One, thank you for protecting the rings and my family with such courage. The way you spoke, the look in your eyes. You were the spitting image of Queen Lumera.
Your words mean so much. Thank you.
Excuse me, Queen Sephoria?
You! I assumed you had gone back to Illusia.
Look, I'm really sorry about what I did. I'll accept whatever punishment you give me.
I'm sorry I held you at Lance Point and threatened to murder you.
I owe you an apology as well.
Queen Sephoria, please. Zephyr was using some sort of magic to control Princess Hortensia.
Let's not tell her that only happened after she threatened her.
As soon as it wore off, she stopped fighting. Even gave me her emblem ring.
I don't recall Zephyr being there when the young princess held me hostage.
Oh, actually, no, she already knows.
Look me in the eyes, you two.
Okay.
Threatening a queen's life is a grave crime. You deserve a room in the dungeons. But I won't send you there.
You won't?
It was the Fell Dragon's minions who broke in and started the conflict, right? Your only crimes were slipping in uninvited and threatening to kill me.
Yeah, you brush that off like it's no big deal.
If you want to make amends, defeat the Fell Dragon. Rebuild your kingdom.
Consider that community service, I guess.
When cooler heads return to Illusia, Solm can only benefit. Let's move on now, shall we?
That's the thing some people have pointed out about Sephoria. Just like all of the Soulm Royals, she's surprisingly pragmatic.
Thank you, Queen Sephoria.
Your show of compassion will not be forgotten. We will restore Illusia. I swear it.
For my part, I think I'd better look into shoring up the palace's defenses.
You're right. The Fell Dragon's forces might come back for you. I can leave some soldiers here to help keep you safe.
Oh, no need, no need. I have lots of family members who can handle things here. If the situation really boils over, I can always leave a double here and wander the land. So don't worry about me. You just focus on taking out the Fell Dragon.
I like how she just casually admits that she has a body double.
We will. Thank you.
Tamara, it's time you show the Divine Dragon where to find Solm's other ring.
Sure thing, Mom. One ring of the Crux of Fate coming right up.
Yeah, we're just gonna have all the avatars.
Where is it?
The Northern Fortress. Oh, you don't scare easily, do you?
Okay, yeah, we do get military funds from Soulm. I thought you'd get that after this chapter. It's a lot of money, though. Of course, they show Fracture on this loading screen. Oh, Fracture. And yes, I already went over Emblem Byleth, but yeah, welcome to Soul Palace. I really like walking around this place after battle.
Yes.
It's just a great looking place. But yeah, well, technically speaking, welcome back to Fire Emblem Engage. I haven't really been able to give my usual intro because there was emotional stuff going on. But yeah, Hortensia is finally on our side. Yeah, it took all the way until chapter 14 for her to join. But I think you get now why I really like Hortensia. I do get that her voice can be a little hard to take seriously in the serious cutscenes sometimes. But I just think she's a really good character. At the same time, though, as much as I don't really like the, every time Amber falls over, they have to pay 10,000 gold to repair the damage he causes. But no, as much as I'm not, like, a huge fan of the poor Melia meme, I kind of feel like we should start a poor, Hortensia meme. Because seriously, she just suffers so much.
Oh, wow.
Oh boy, Claire's actually been dying a lot lately. That's not a good sign. I mean, he's been performing solidly well, it's just he's a massive glass cannon. What did you say that adds character? Oh, okay, it was... well, yeah, that's probably Amber, sorry about that. Speaking to Fagado here, though, so from this point onwards, Fagado will be losing his plot armor, and I forgot to mention it, but it should be self-evident by now. Alcris lost his plot armor after Chapter 11, and here's the thing, as much as I really like Timera as a character, I actually think Fagado would have been much more interesting. He would have had much more interesting things to say about the main story. I kind of wish,
A word, please.
kind of wish that,
Indeed.
alongside Saline for Firene, I wish that Alfred and Timera swapped plot relevance with their siblings. Because I do think that Saline and Fagado would have been more interesting during the main storyline. Oh, that's just giving me flashbacks to Wind Waker and that jerk rich guy. At least he changes after, you know, the Forsaken Fortress.
Oh, wow.
No, the thing is a chandelier. It looks more like a disco ball to me. Speaking of disco balls,
Divine One.
you'd know all about disco balls, wouldn't you?
Thank you.
Might sadly be the last time that I use Pandreo, but I'm glad I got to use him at least once.
Yes.
Oh, this is a really nice triumphant version of the Psalm theme too. There's actually a pretty decent number of like leitmotifs in this game's music, and from some interviews they've said that different composers did the themes for each of the countries.
Divine One.
So like the Brodia map theme was done by a different composer to the Psalm map theme, and I do think that helps add a lot of character to the different countries, helps make them all unique. I kind of wish more games would do that.
Yes.
A lot of the cutscene music in Engage is a lot better than I remember it being. It's kind of hard to hear it over the voice acting sometimes, but like that theme that's basically Ivy and Hortensia's theme, that rearranges bits of the Illusia boss theme, just in general there's a lot of really good use of motifs like that in this soundtrack. But, okay, we are going home to the Somnial. And I want to hopefully make this Somnial part fairly short, because I am assuming that Byleth's bio was very long.
Another ring in the Divine Dragon's hands. Still, not enough to turn the tide.
Oh, you severely underestimate Goddess Dance.
Sleep. Curse this feeble form of mine for plunging me into darkness. I pray that next time my waking hours will not end so soon. Sand? But what happened to all the snow? Where am I? Why does this keep happening to me?
So, now we know why Vale kept waking up in space in places and not knowing how she got there. And those same red eyes, we saw those on Hortensia as well. Some people may not like the fact that, yeah, thanks to the implication there, Vale has some kind of brainwashing going on, but I'll go into my thoughts on that later. I do still think that Vale is a very good character overall, but now's not really the time for that. Hortensia... So here's the thing. I was originally planning on using Hortensia in... Like, Hortensia was the other character that I was considering using, but Timera really impressed me in that last battle. She did better than I thought she would, and I kind of already have too many magic users. I mean, you can never really have too many magic users, especially late game in Engage, but I've got a lot of staff users as well, and Hortensia is very, very staff-oriented.
Thanks!
Speaking of which... This is Hortensia.
My time to shine!
I'd sum up Hortensia as the ultimate staff user. Like her sister, she has a personal flying magic class, but it's more focused on support than on damage. Her flyer movement lets her use healing and support staves from hard-to-reach places, and her personal skill aids in that even more by giving +1 range to healing staves. Note that this doesn't affect things like warp or freeze, only healing. But it lets her heal people on the front lines while keeping safe. As for actual stats, Hortensia starts out pretty fast, has very good dex, which will come into play later, and massive resistance. Her magic base of 12 is low for a tome user, and her growth isn't enough to save it. She'll usually double attack most things, but don't expect her to one-round even armored enemies. She can provide occasional chip damage with regular tomes and thunder when she needs to, but that shouldn't be often. You want to use her for support and utility, not for attacking. And her personal promotion helps even more with that. Sleipnir Rider shores up her magic a little and makes her resistance even more overkill, but its main asset is its class skill at level 5, World Tree. This gives Hortensia a dex % chance to not consume a use anytime she uses a staff. And she has 22 dex at bare minimum in this class, so that's a lot of saved staff uses over the course of a run. With a little luck, she essentially multiplies the number of times you can use warp and rescue staves, and there's even an S-rank staff that fully restores everybody's engage meters but only has one use, and it's always a hype moment if World Tree triggers on this. Finally, because weapon ranks are tied to classes in Engage, a Master Seal gives Hortensia an S rank right off the bat, meaning she's always a useful utility character even if you don't give her any experience. So yes, Hortensia will need a Master Seal if you want to use her. I believe though she starts only, actually let me just check, is she like right here? Oh no, I remember this, okay. So yeah, Hortensia starts at the very bottom of your screen, and this is sad because in my first playthrough I never used her, so she ended up on the bottom of the list all the time. But for some reason she loses 1 level versus what she was as a boss, which is weird because, like, I don't know, she really should have joined at level 20 because, yeah, you're kind of just supposed to Master Seal her immediately. But I don't think they've restocked them yet. Oh, actually, no, I think they did restock, like, 1 more. And there's definitely more second seals. But they've got more Pure Waters in. Oh, we can buy Fracture. Fracture can be useful sometimes. In Hortensia's hands, it had, as an enemy, it had infinite durability. Oh, we can buy Silence now. Tends to have low hit rates against enemies where it really matters. However, Staff Mastery helps with that.
I thank you.
We can also get more freeze. And, we did just get a whole lot of money from Solm. This is basically the last time that we get war funds from a major kingdom. For a very long time, at least. Yeah, I thought the armory would have new stock too, so I might as well check that out while I'm here. So this gold's gonna have to last us for a while, so as much as I really want to invest into some countries, And you need to do that for some of the S-rank weapons. Like, for example, I believe the only way to get the S-ranked staff is through getting Illusia up to max level. I think I'm going to think for now. 6 iron blades in stock, wow. But we can't even get the higher tiers of those blades. Oh, we can buy another Levin sword, which is cool. More killing edges, which are pretty much objectively better than... Oh, the Wudao has more accuracy, but not that sword users really need accuracy. We can get another silver lance, more killer weapons, more great weapons. Silver axes are pretty nice. Effective weapons, generally it's just sort of more of the same. But we can buy another silver bow too. Technically, Anna can use that as a warrior because she has a blue proficiency in bows. Silver daggers, stilettos, Thunder and Elwind. We can buy silver spirit arts too, so we can get more of these. Only 8 might, but if you have like an actual like, oh yeah, this doesn't have a brief effect by the way. But if you've got a martial master with really good like strength and magic, which is kind of rare,
Take care.
you can make use of it in that regard. There is an item that apparently gives a very large support bonus with everyone and is very cheap, but I don't think they have it here. Yes, you can buy this. Oh yeah, now I should mention that if you have the DLC, now is the time when you'll get the maximum amount of dialogue out of the Emblem of the Lookout Ridge. Yeah, I thought Ike would have more dialogue here.
Indeed.
Oh, actually, I had stuff ready from the well a chapter ago and I forgot about it, so let's grab that. I'm hoping red means something good. Just novice book, but 11 sword is pretty good. Steel great lance too. Actually, Tamara could maybe use that as a forge. Now, Byleth's bond rings are interesting because where other emblems only have 2 with skills, Byleth has 3, and it should be obvious who they are. Edelgard S gives Flickering Flower. If unit initiates combat, freezes foe. Trigger percent equals total damage dealt. If you're dealing enough damage to give this, like, a reliable activation rate, the enemy's probably close to dead anyway, so, I don't know, like, this could be useful sometimes, but it's not that reliable. Dimitri gets Paraselene, I think that is, and I think that just means half moon. Used to attack an adjacent foe, then move 1 space away from that foe after combat, so it's an attack and a mobility tool at the same time. And I believe it also would stack with Cancer if you have that. But Claude is probably the best one here. If unit's HP is 100%, grants range +1 with bows. This is incredibly fun, and also pretty useful in a lot of cases. You can have 4 range longbows, 3 range radiant bows and silver bows. You've got to have full HP, but that's relatively easy to achieve. So, Claude's one is one of those when I would actually consider rigging the RNG via skirmishes or paralogs to ensure you get it. I don't have a lot of bond fragments myself though, but oh, that is very tempting. I'm actually going to go for 3 pulls with Byleth and see if I get Claude within that, but if not, I'm going to wait for a later chapter. Didn't get it, so let's see who's close to leveling here. I got a lot of levels in that last chapter, so not a lot of people. I guess maybe a Lear. I can see how he does with the Silver Spirit art.
You got me.
Somehow I won.
That was kind of close, but it was enough for a level at least. Yeah, his speed is not good in this class, but I like that defense.
I shall serve as your opponent today.
I'm Fogata, Psalm's very own prince.
Okay, I would say this is...
You're strong. I can learn a lot from you.
Did I win? How satisfying.
Scratch that, he actually won. Like, at first I was like, okay, this is not good for Fogado, but then I saw Fogado had a Radiant Bow, but then I saw that Louis one-shotted. So I'm contemplating who to train with Byleth. I normally like Byleth on Mysticals because of that increased magic range, and I do want to show that with Jean at some points. But I'm liking Dire Thunder on Jean. His speed is not, like, amazing, so he might not be doubling a whole lot with Byleth. And, I mean, I suppose Ivy's doubling a decent amount, and she doesn't, and she has even less speed, but still. Clan is... I don't want Dire Thunder with Clan, because Clan is just fast enough that he's going to double most things with other weapons anyway. I suppose Ivy could also take Dire Thunder, but I had this idea I could also use Byleth on Temera, because with as a backup unit, she'll be able to give Strength +4 with Goddess Dance and Instruct, which could be really nice to have. She's not somebody who I take a lot of fights with, so she's not going to be wasting a lot of turns by using Goddess Dance, and she also has enough magic to make okay use of Blutgang. You know what, I think for now I might do this. I don't think I've ever actually used Byleth on Temera before.
Let's go.
Thing is though, having access to inheriting Divine Pulse on Ivy or any staff user really is excellent, so I think I will still train you up a little bit with Ivy.
Has something happened, Ivy? You seem a little out of sorts.
I was thinking of my father, that's all.
Okay, I was half expecting Byleth to reply to that with, let's just say something. But I think I will also go up to 5 with Clan.
Let's try not to hurt each other, okay?
No need to be shy.
No need to be shy, small child who I'm about to fight, and oh no, I do no damage because Blutgang's stats are weird.
I'm not setting a very good example.
I think I've grown up a little.
I don't remember Blutgang being particularly good even in Three Houses.
You seem to be in a good mood, Jean.
Yeah. A soldier I'd been treating for some time finally recovered. I was so worried about him.
And then Byleth's like, huh, must be nice to live in a world that isn't full of misery all the time. I also just half expect Byleth to be like, yeah, I've had to deal with, like, soldiers that Dimitri had severely wounded, and let's just say that no amount of medical treatment would help there. So, okay, I could try and make an effort to unlocking Hortensia and Alcra supports. This is the exact opposite of why I wanted to unlock Pandreo and Alcra supports. I want to show and talk about these supports because I don't like them. In particular, the A support. Like, I really, really, really dislike the A support. This is a really good recipe, though, and I have all the ingredients for it.
This dish is for the Divine Dragon. Failure would be inexcusable. I apologize in advance.
Oh, no.
What has the chef done? Ugh.
Ah. This meal is like me.
Oh, he doesn't voice the last part, okay. E rank, okay. Never had that happen before. But I mean, everyone's strength +1 is not actually that bad. Like, to be honest, I can think of worse things. Yeah, I didn't expect Vander, of all people, to fail that badly, especially when I had all the ingredients. Okay, Byleth's Engrave. Byleth's Engrave raises crit avoid, raises critical avoid by a lot and hit by a decent amount. Raises weight by 2, it seems. But I just forged up this Steel Great Lance. I suppose that could use the extra hit. I'm a little worried about the weight, but I mean, I wouldn't be doubling with that anyway. Okay, it's only going to take a paltry number of bond fragments just to get Ragnall on Amber. Should probably do that before my next fight. But now, okay, wow, I have a lot of supports with Aaliyah right now. Yeah, it's about time we started to get some B supports with my main team and Aaliyah.
Clan? Psst. Clan. Clan.
Ah! My apologies, Divine One.
Is everything okay? You were really out of it.
I'm fine. Got a little distracted, that's all.
Okay. Listen, I think you might be wearing yourself out.
What? No, I'm not. I was just, I'm really not.
Admit it. Your plate's too full with everything you do for me.
What? No, absolutely not. If anything, it's not full enough. Pile my plate with more of those tasty, tasty responsibilities. Anything for the Divine Dragon. Seriously, whatever you tell me to do, I'll do it. Go ahead, give me an order.
Well, if you insist.
He's gonna order him to relax, isn't he?
I order you to get some rest.
I knew it.
No fair. You cheated.
Sorry. You're irreplaceable. I can't have you wearing yourself out. You have to take some time off, so that you're ready in case the worst happens.
But...
Rest, clan. That's an order.
All right. If you insist, I'll just lie down for a bit.
Yeah, that's a nice support, especially, you know, I know a lot of people who overwork themselves a lot, so that one hits home for me.
What can this humble liar do for you, Divine One?
I'd like to have a talk, that's all.
I understand. And I'm prepared to accept whatever punishment you have in mind.
Punishment? No. I wanted you to know how grateful I've been to have you by my side.
Wait, what?
That's how I feel. You fight hard every day to protect our allies. There's absolutely no reason to punish you. In hindsight, I think the only reason you lied is that we don't know each other very well yet. So, let's change that. Why don't you start by telling me something about yourself, Yunaka?
Way to put me on the spot.
If you don't want to, then I won't pry. Simple as that.
Okay. Before I joined up with you, I was sort of just wandering, looking for my place in the world. I'd left my old self behind me. Wanted to think I had, at least.
You don't sound very fond of your old self.
Oh, I like her well enough. Others, though, not so much. That's why she had to go. But I like who I am now. And honestly, I've been having so much fun since we met.
I'm glad to hear that. Good talk, Yunaka. I think we should do it again sometime. What do you say?
You got yourself a deal.
Again, that's a pretty nice one. It's interesting the way that she reacts, though. She's like, I'm okay with my old self, but other people weren't. I was about to say I wanted to do this one first, but I seem to remember this one being more comical. Could be wrong about that, though.
Grilled and ready to go! This meat is so yummy, it's gonna make your taste buds dance.
Wow, that seems like a lot of meat for the two of us.
Oh no, this one's for me. I was going to do yours next.
What? How do you eat that much?
Oh, you know, open my mouth, bite, chew. I won't bore you with all the details.
Wow. You're really something, Tamara.
That's true! I'm really something! I'm the Crown Princess of Solm! And I'm wearing lots of priceless jewels!
Shh, please keep your voice down. I've heard that this area isn't very safe.
You can say that again. It's absolutely crawling with bandits. That's why I'm out here like a nice, tempting hunk of lamb on a spit.
Wait a minute. That was your plan? To use yourself as bait?
It worked, didn't it? Look, those bruisers have had their eye on us since we got here.
It looks like they're getting ready for an ambush.
Not if we pounce on them first. Come on. This ought to be a piece of cake for you and me.
All right. But, you know, a little heads up would have been nice.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to actually fight things in a support conversation.
Divine One, I have something to discuss with you, if it's not too much trouble.
Oh? No, it's no trouble at all. But first, you can loosen up a little. I don't bite, I promise.
Yeah, he couldn't even if he wanted to, because he has no dragon form.
Of course. Forgive me. I've been working up the courage to ask you about this. See, I love rare critters, and I especially love dragons.
So, you think of me as a rare critter?
Well, you're rare at least. You're the world's only divine dragon. so I was hoping you'd help me understand your species a little better.
Wow.
What's wrong?
Nothing. Please, go ahead.
All right, I'll cut to the chase then. Tell me, what is a typical day like for you?
Let's see. Someone wakes me up in the morning. I eat breakfast. I train until noon. I live like a normal person, to be honest. Is that helpful?
Very. Basic activity is much like that of an average human.
Wait, are you writing all this down?
Of course. This is excellent material for the book I'm working on about you.
Book? You don't think that's a little much?
What do you mean? Future generations deserve to know all about the Divine Dragon.
Yes, but not in the form of a Pokédex entry.
I guess so.
Yeah, so that support I find interesting because, it's as somebody who's kind of had issues with, like, the way that dragons have been portrayed in some of, like, the recent Fire Emblem games, I do like how this one is making an effort to show just how one of them feels being on the receiving end of being treated as, like, not human, and just how that... Like, I don't know, like, again, like, Merrin didn't really mean anything by it, but, like, if you view, like, dragons the way that you would view, say, other races of humans in real life, imagine how Merrin would come across in that case, and you can kind of probably see how Aaliyah feels. Like, I'm not saying that, like, that's a direct analog to how people of other races feel, but, like, it does kind of remind me. Sometimes people are like, oh, you're from this culture, right? Well, then, tell me, you must do this, right? Is it true that, like, you know, you all say this and stuff? And, yeah, it's just... People don't want to be talked to like that. Just treat people the same way as you would treat any other person. But, okay, enough about that. Let's go into... capitalism.
Hey, Princess Tamara! Hey, Lady Anna. What's up?
Wow, she didn't even need to ask you to call her that.
Quick question. What don't they have enough of in the Queendom of Solm?
Oh, I see where this is going. Already getting a finger on supply and demand.
Is this a riddle? I love riddles! Okay, let's think this through.
It's not a riddle, or any other kind of game.
Oh, it's not? Then why are you asking?
Knowing what's lacking in Solm will help me decide what to stock and sell, right? I thought, if anyone knows all there is to know about Solm, it'd be you.
So you came to me for advice on what to sell there. Makes sense.
Now that I've been separated from my family, I've got to make a living somehow. Business is my only real hope.
I guess that's the first time we're really finding that out about Anna.
You know, Solm already has a lot of merchants. It's not the easiest market to break into.
So you're saying the distribution channels for standard goods are already well established? In that case, I'll focus on selling my own unique products. That should be enough to compete.
Well, just as long as it's something that people in Solm want.
Ooh, not a bad idea, Lady Anna. I'm happy to help you bring a new product to the people of Solm. Just let me know.
Thanks, Princess Tamara. Well, no time to waste. I'd better start doing some research.
Okay, I've got Tamara and Panette, and then we also have... Yeah, I managed to grind to Diamant and Fram B as well. And I think those are the only two we have left.
That was just what I needed. It's been way too long since we rode together.
Yes, boss. Nothing beats a nice jaunt on Wolfback.
You and I used to go riding practically every night. What happened to those days?
War happened. The world has changed, unfortunately.
And according to Fallout, war never does.
Isn't that the truth? And you know, you've mellowed out a lot since those days.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, come on! Remember how we met? You had a bunch of bandits tied to trees and were about to feed them to the wolves.
That was merely to intimidate them. I wasn't actually going to...
And don't get me started on the way you used to talk. You'd say things like, "Feeling hungry, punks? I got a fresh serving of knuckles for you right here."
Why, I beg you to cease this coarse impression.
Don't worry, Panette. I love the old you. But I love the new you, too.
The feeling is mutual, boss. Your relentless teasing aside.
So, Panette, some people think Panette's character works a little bit better in Japanese because, there it was pretty clear that she used to speak in super rough language and she kind of tries to use polite, like Kegor now. But I think her thing is that she's really bad at it. I honestly think her English tone of voice still gets that across. Like, she does clearly sound like someone who's trying way too hard to sound posh.
Hello, Fram. Did you forget the history book today? Or did you already finish it?
I quit studying history.
You quit? What happened? I thought you were finally having fun with it.
Prince Diamant, you said you wanted to bring peace to the world, but is that really true?
Of course it is. I would never lie about that.
Then why does Brodia keep attacking Illusia?
Well...
I read the histories of both kingdoms. There are helpless citizens in Illusia that fear Brodia. When you talk about ending war, do you really mean conquering Illusia? Is that peace? The more I read in that history book, the less I understood the world. It was scary. That's why I put it down. I'm done. I quit.
Brodia is a kingdom of warriors. It does have a regrettable history of seizing territory by force. And it is true that some people in Illusia have been hurt by, and have grown to hate, Brodia. That's an undeniable part of my kingdom's past. But I won't let it be part of our future. It may not be easy, but I mean what I say. There will be change.
In your own kingdom, you mean?
Yes. Please, believe me.
I don't know. You skipped right over the bad parts of Brodia's history last time.
I didn't mean to hide any of that from you, but I suppose I have a guilty conscience about these things. I understand why you'd be upset with me.
No. I'm not upset. I just... I don't know. I'm really letting this get to me, huh? History is so heavy.
Oh wow, I didn't expect the support to end there, but... Yeah, that's just... I wanted to make sure that I unlock those, because it's just trying to grind up Alfred and Saline to A, speaking of heavy supports. I just personally really love that one, especially the part where I think actually her voice actress is really good there, but the part where Fram says you skipped over the bad parts of Brodia's history. It just shows the importance that when you're learning the history of a country, you really do need to study its mistakes as well as its, you know, you can't just look at the positive parts of it. Oh, Amber and Merrin support, that's probably amazing. Sorry to give mood whiplash. But yeah, like there's not much I can really add to that wasn't already said in the support itself. I just like that a support with Fram of all characters actually goes into serious topics like learning from history and about wars and about, you know, reforming, like, internal reforms to a country and about what it means to achieve true peace and why reading and learning history is important. I like that it's with one of the younger members of the army too, because I do think it's important to, it's definitely important to teach those things about history from a young age. I sort of wish I'd done more history in high school. The history that we were forced to do was mostly Australian history, but even that, like, we definitely covered, yeah, there's a lot of bad stuff that we covered in our history, like the fact that we did a lot of really horrible things to to the First Nations people, and there are a lot of countries in the world that have done things like that, and again, it's important that we learn that, otherwise we forget about it, and we don't move forward. But, speaking of moving forward, we just unlocked Byleth's Paralogue. Recommended Advanced Class Level 5. And the next main story chapter is at the Northern Fortress, base class level 19. So, Byleth's Paralogue is one that I would recommend, like, I don't think it's that big a deal to put that one off for a little bit. Byleth is strong enough as is, and that paralogue is not only quite difficult, but it also has an optional objective that you need to be pretty strong in order to actually achieve. I think instead, I've put off the Plains of Swift Winds, I think, for long enough. Next time, we'll be heading out there to unlock more power from Emblem Lynn.